Welcome back to Fireside Chats with Gaslight. Today we have Scott Hofmann. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Katie. Good to be with you.
Yeah, thanks for joining me on this lovely, I guess it's Wednesday morning.
It is.
Yes, it is. So first thing is first. Are you a software developer, Scott?
No, I'm not. I'm actually a Scrum Master.
Yes.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes. So Scrum Master. So I got here in a kind of a funny path, you might say, a roundabout path. So I started out in school going to University of Cincinnati for industrial design. So you think, well, how do you get from there to Scrum Master, right?
Yeah.
But, it's funny because there's a lot of things that are very similar in that path for design school, for product design. The thing that you always focus about is the form of something and the function of something and how people think and interact with things. So in a strange way, that's very similar to what a Scrum Master does. I mean, she may be interested in really taking a group of people and making sure that they perform well and making sure that they know what their functions are and making sure that what results in that is something that people really want to have. So in that process, I think I've traveled a lot of places. So I've started out in design school. I have had the tech side of things. And when I first got out, I was at a company where they didn't have a network at the time. And the regional manager saw my interest and obsession with Macs and decided that he put me in charge of making that happen. So before you know it, I was taking care of 100 computers and put the network together and putting servers together.
Nice.
So there was some technology in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then down the road, I actually worked for another company that did Java development and also did some open source work.
Mm-hmm.
And my job there was actually one of the front end designers. So I was doing both print and web work there for them.
Cool.
With the interest of, eventually becoming a developer, but it's kind of funny when you work with a bunch of people that are developers that are really good at their job, it's kind of hard to break into that. So you end up still doing what you're really good at, and that's how it ends up staying where it is. But that's also where I also kind of got introduced with Gaslight.
Okay.
Because one of the guys that worked there was Chris Nelson.
Okay.
And that's where we first ran into each other.
Nice.
So
let's just be clear. You were a designer, front-end developer-ish person.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was.
I did not know this about you.
Yeah, I did that for a while, and actually, there was another place I worked, which it was a nonprofit, and that's kind of where I made more of the transition from doing the front end work to actually doing more of the coordination of the work.
Okay.
So I worked for a nonprofit where I was also there doing multiple hats, where I was doing design work, and I was also doing the taking care of the hardware there too for the network and the people. But at some point we did this training. We educated and promoted natural family planning, and in that process we had a paper system to keep track of all the people that were coming to our classes, and so we wanted to convert that into being an online process. And so that is when my relationships with past people came into play, and I called on Gaslight to see if they were interested in helping us out there. And so they were more than anxious to do that, and it was fun because we got to really experience Agile at its best there and work through all that process and came up with a great product at the end.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah. So it just kind of kept giving me better appreciation for Gaslight.
Good. That's good. So how long have you been at Gaslight, technically?
I've been at Gaslight for about 2.5 years now.
Okay.
Almost 3 coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so it's like a good, decent amount of time. And we're going to just skip over it because we already know how you got here. What is your favorite part about Gaslight?
Favorite part about Gaslight? Gosh, there's a lot of them. If I were to wrap it up to something that kind of relates back to what I do, I'm going to say transparency. So I say that because in Scrum, there are three things that people really pay attention to. One is transparency, another one is inspection, and another is adaptation. And I think that Gaslight does all of those really great, but I think transparency is the biggest one for me. And transparency, when you do it enough, when you interact with people enough, it forces relationships to happen better. And when you have better relationships, it creates better trust. And when you have good trust, then you can really excel.
Yeah.
And I think transparency happens throughout the whole process. Like just everything that happens at Gaslight, like anywhere from the values that are posted on the wall, that are exposed, that we continually talk about during our daily stand-ups. We're always communicating and being transparent about what we're doing and what we're not doing well even. And we're also, one of the best parts about Gaslight is also their Friday lunches. And I don't say that just because of the food, although, my wife would probably say it's probably one of those things that she does on a regular basis. So with our kids, I've got 5 kids, and one of the things I've found is that whenever there's an occasion that needs to be special or she wants to be special, she'll always incorporate some great food with it. And so I kind of feel like that's the same thing that Gaslight does. They do the Friday lunch, and it kind of brings us all together in a good meal, something we can remember. But the transparency part of that is that some of the things that happen at those Friday lunches, anywhere from just sitting around and talking about things that are not directly work project related with other coworkers to get to know those people better, to talking about the financials. And those sometimes are things that in companies are hidden away, that you're told the big picture of we're doing great or we're not, and you don't really know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
And there's enough transparency here that we know what's going on.
Yeah.
And we can help act on those things. And then the other part I love about Gaslight is the learning ability. Like everybody at Gaslight just loves to learn, and we eat that stuff up, whether it's, having somebody as a speaker at those Friday lunches or bringing somebody in to have everybody learn something new.
Yeah.
Transparency, that's what I would say.
That was good. I think that was probably one of the best worded great things about Gaslight. So thank you, Scott.
But I also have to say, I gotta just throw this in, your dogs are wonderful too.
Thank
and
you.
It's a joy to have them at the office. So it's sad not to be at the office right now. I'm not enjoying those dogs.
I know. Rocket Dog agrees. Rogue probably doesn't agree, but Rocket Dog does. Rogue's like, no, thank you. I'll stay home. But yes, those are all good things. Thank you so much.
You bet. I'm glad I could talk to you.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate your time, and everyone learned something new about you, including me.
Awesome.
I'm going to make sure all the designers listen to this because they have to know.
Next time you have to tell me something new that I don't know about you.
Okay. I'll think about it.
All right.
I'm an open book. I think everybody knows everything about me.
See about that.
All right. Well, thank you again. And thanks everybody for joining us today. And we are out.